Hello everyone, welcome to a update on the severe weather outbreak which is expected tomorrow across a large portion of the Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley. The National Weather Service has issued 2 areas of moderate risk, one in eastern Iowa and the other is in northeastern Arkansas, as a bimodal event appears likely. Which basically means that there are 2 areas which have the highest risk of severe weather. We'll talk a lot more about that, but first let's quickly talk about the flash flooding risk for tomorrow on Friday. And you can see there's a large area under a marginal and then a slight risk of excessive rainfall. This is just something to take note of if you live in a flood-prone area. So anyway, there's also a severe weather risk, possible severe weather outbreak, expected on Tuesday the 4th. And it's for a relatively similar area, with the main target right now looking like most of Arkansas into southern Missouri. So let's take a look at what the storms could look like on Friday. This is the HRRR model, and yeah, this definitely shows a bimodal severe weather outbreak. Up in Iowa, we have what could be initially supercells forming in central Iowa, and then a little further south we have large cluster of storms forming from the bottom of Arkansas all the way towards St. Louis. And that could mean that there's an area somewhere around here that basically doesn't get any severe weather, maybe not even much in terms of storms. However, it's not certain that this will happen. This is another model. This is the North American model. And it shows something very different. It shows pretty much a linear mode, and shows a large squall line extending from northern Iowa all the way down into northern Arkansas. And this would mean that areas around here could see severe weather. However, it seems like the North American model is somewhat of an outlier, and this could be more likely what we see happening. So let's take a look at a few soundings. First off, we'll look at a sounding from southeastern Iowa in the northern moderate risk. And right off the bat, you can see very large CAPE values, a lot of instability, surface-based CAPE well over 3,000, which is definitely supportive of severe weather. Dew points in the lower 60s should also support severe weather. Going over to our hodograph, and you can see there's not a lot of curving with the hodograph. It's relatively straight. Storm relative helicity is below 150. So what I think this means is that these northern areas, the main threat will probably be strong winds and hail, potentially very large hail. And yeah, let's take a look at basically right between our 2 moderate risks, in the middle of our enhanced risk. And this sounding is near the St. Louis area, and it shows not as much CAPE, but that's still enough CAPE for an instability for severe weather. Dew points in the mid-60s should support severe weather. Going over to our hodograph, you can see there is a little more curving with the hodograph than there is further north. Storm relative helicity values are over 250, so that could support some tornadoes if there's a linear mode, or maybe if there's supercells. And finally, we'll take a look at the southern moderate risk area. and the sounding I took from northeastern Arkansas. You can see that Cape values are around 1400, which it's the lowest we've looked at so far, but it's still enough for severe weather to occur. However, our hodographs definitely have the most curved hodographs that we've looked at so far. Storm relative helicity values are well over 300, so that definitely supports the possibility of tornadoes, perhaps long-tracked, strong tornadoes. Dew points are in the upper 60s as well, which definitely supports severe weather. And to sum it all up, I think that the areas farthest north, I think the biggest threat will be severe thunderstorms with the potential for very strong winds and large hail. As we work further south into the St. Louis area and maybe areas just to the north, it's still uncertain what's gonna happen, but if storms are able to develop, they could have the potential for all forms of severe weather, which is hail, strong winds, and maybe some tornadoes. The areas furthest south, I think, have the greatest threat of seeing a strong tornado due to more favorable hodographs. I think all of these areas could see tornadoes, but I think further south is where we could see the potential for stronger tornadoes. And also other forms of severe weather. There could still be strong winds and hail possible down here as well. So anyway, thank you for watching. See you on the next forecast.